Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's about 4:30 p.m. on a Sunday. I am, well, if you see that large building on the left there, that's the Lumpini. Kind of towards the end of Soi 24. Rama 4 would be to the right, maybe a 5-minute walk. So off in this direction where that darkish grayish building is, that would be on Rama 4. And just behind me is the beginning of Soi 16. But I've never really explored. This is a very, ooh, that's a close one. Man, Thai guys just like pull into traffic without looking at all. It's a little scary. But I am kind of towards the top of Soi 16. I'm not sure where I'm going to end up, but I thought I might look around this area. You're not too far. You're a lot closer to the Queen Sirikit MRT than you would be Phrom Phong. But still, let's see what some of these low-rise buildings have to offer. And that little street straight ahead where you see the motorbikes going by, I'm not sure if that is technically Soi 16. If you were to go to the right, you would eventually end up on Sukhumvit, right near the Asok BTS. If you go to the left, you're at Queen Sirikit MRT, maybe a 5-minute walk. So these buildings, this is a 7-Eleven straight in front of me. I'm probably just seeing the back sides of the buildings I've seen on that street, but I've never been up this little alley, so maybe there's something hidden away. And that building straight ahead, shoot, is it a Wyndham property? I know there's a large, it's kind of like a Wyndham timeshare resort, but I think you can live in there full time. And that fancy building, the name is escaping me. It's on the end of Soi 22. I know Foreigner Joe, if you've watched that channel, he lived in there a couple of years. What is it called? I have the Davis on my mind, but that is the hotel on Soi 24. Anyhow, that big, beautiful building with the dome, you can clearly see from the Phrom Phong BTS. And off in the distance, again, I'm terrible with names. Those buildings with the helicopter pads are at the end of Soi 20. And there's a nice, easy shortcut to get over to Soi 18. They're closer to the BTS. I'm tucked away way closer to Rama 4 than anything else. And it was raining earlier. I see some rain clouds moving in, so I'm not sure how much time I'm going to get to explore. It's a cool little neighborhood. I'm going to end up right there where the truck is going because that is going to be my left turn to the MRT station. But I like to get out and just check out the smaller areas. What is this back here? A spa. Sazonka? Spa, sauna, massage, restaurant. And I like these 3-story walk-ups. There's a couple of guys I know around town that they've obviously married Thai ladies and all with the ownership issues, but they take these 3- and 4-story walk-ups and just turn them into beautiful homes. It's definitely a more locals-only feel back here. And it's starting to sprinkle on me. Right down the way where you see that cab, right to the left is El Mercado. There are now 2 or 3 more El Mercados around town, but this is the original, I'll call it deli restaurant. I know there's another Mercado on 35, and they just opened one in the new M-Sphere. You know, I might have got that building wrong. I think this is the parking garage for the Monterey Place, and that is the building. From here to MRT, 5-minute walk, if that. It's just up to the left. You make a quick right and you're there. And once again, the buildings with the helicopter pads are at the end of Soi 20, Soi 18, and 16. You can't really get 18 dead ends. 16 starts just down the way where you see that cross traffic. If you can see it, that is the beginning of Soi 16 off to the left. I was going to make that walk, but it's starting to rain. So I'm going to head in the direction of the MRT and then at least be able to jump on a train if I need to. Here's the Spark Hotel. And the El Mercado, I'll call it the original, the Chef's Market, Bistro, Bakery, Delicatessen, Grocery, Seafood. And I know they have a restaurant right to the right. And there's the restaurant. It might be a little too dark. And yes, if you can see it through the wires there, that is the Monterey. I misidentified the darker building over here. That is the Wyndham property. And there's another, this is a more local building, but it's feet from the MRT Queen Sirikit. So we're gonna go where you're gonna see this traffic taking a right, and then you're at the train. Here's all the Wyndham signs. It says a world-class 5-star hotel, investment property, on and on. And I'm not sure exactly what's going on. It says it's the Siamese exclusive Queens and the Wyndham Bangkok Queen Convention. And this is the view from the lobby straight across that busy road. That's Ratchada. On the other side, you can't see it because of the trees, is the Queen Sirikit Convention Center. The MRT is just to the left here. Well, it's on both sides. And also you're gonna have the beautiful Benjakitty Park with a large dog park. I don't know if this Wyndham accepts pets, but if they do, this is a prime area to stay. That's one of the only dog parks I know in central Bangkok. I'm sure there are others, but I know Lumpini, and in my neighborhood, Benjakitty Park, only seeing eye dogs are allowed. And there's the convention center and the beginning of the park. And if you're looking to stick close to a train, you are one stop from Terminal 21 and 50 feet from MRT Queen Sirikit, Lumpini Place. It looks like it's a 6 or 8 story, whatever this is, complex. Now straight across where it says out, that is the backside to the MRT station. On the other side of the street is the large Med Park Hospital. But I am gonna walk on the other side of Ratchada here from the convention center towards Sukhumvit. I'm not sure I've ever walked this little area. I know there are some fancy buildings to see, but I'm normally zipping by in a cab. And I'm starting to get some pretty good wind, so hopefully the sound's okay. That building off in the distance, I'm not even sure it's open yet. I want to say it's a life property, kind of on the corner of Ratchada. Well, a little bit more up Rama 4, but a 5-minute walk, if that, to the MRT. And almost attached to the MRT Queen Sirikit is this old school building. Just kind of a local Thai place. I've made that comment a couple of times, and one person, she gives me a little bit grief. Why? You know, all these buildings are local Thai buildings. They're all located in Bangkok. Why do you say that? I don't mean to be snobbish. This is just more, how do I put it? A local Thai area. There's not going to be as many expats in there. You're more than welcome to live there, and I'm sure they'll be glad to take your money, and it'll probably come at an affordable price for central Bangkok. You might also be sharing the highway with tons of screaming kids and I don't know, bicycles in the hallway, that kind of thing. Maybe it's just a little bit more lax or mellow compared to some of the fancier condos around town, but I'll leave that up to you. Again, I'm not meaning to be snobbish at all. I'm just pointing out there's a difference between this building, which it has a Thai name, not that that's any big deal, and this building, the Life on Rama 4, where I'm sure if you leave your shoes out in the hallway, it's going to be a problem. And I always get a kick out of this little Baja ingenuity here. These bikes need to kind of sneak up and drop their customers off over to the one section, so somebody broke out the concrete one day, or asphalt, whatever that is. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that building at all, and even though it's a little bit older building, it's feet from the MRT, so you're still gonna pay top price. So don't be surprised if there are maybe multiple families staying in a 2-bedroom unit. That's just how it's going to be. If you really don't want to have any hassles or extra noise, well, then you're going to have to pay a little bit extra, or a lot extra, depending on what part of town it is, for one of these fancier buildings. A good compromise might be a building like this. What is it called? The Lumpini Place. It's how do I put it? If you're on the 2nd floor of Lumpini Place, you're going to pay 150, and I'm making all these figures up, dollars less than the 29th floor of that brand new Life building. You might be paying $300 less. I don't know. That's a brand new building. And like I said before, I'm walking straight up the way. I guess it's a shorter walk than I thought. The opposite side of the park, up Ratchada Pisik, or just Ratchada. When you get to Sukhumvit, where Soy Cowboy is on one side and Terminal 21 is on the other, it turns into a Sok Mantri. Then it turns back into Ratchada as you get to the other side of Phetchaburi. And Ratchada is just short for Ratchada Pisik. Now, if you were living over here at, say, that Wyndham, you would have, or this Lumpini place, and you had to do business over at the convention center area or head to the park, you would have to walk the short distance up to the MRT station and go under the busy street. Yeah, running across this street would not be a good idea. There is a bridge, but you can see it down the way. I guess it wouldn't be bad if you're heading to the park, because that bridge kind of takes you straight in. Hey, and you know what? I learn something every day. It makes sense. There's another MRT station over here. I had no idea. I don't think I've ever walked through here. Well, I didn't mean to say it was a different station. It's still Queen Sirikit. It's gate 4. There's usually 4 gates. And there's the convention center. I've been there a couple of times for different travel shows and all. I just walked past. They sure sounded American, heading into the train, all with convention badges. I'm sure all the major industries hold conventions there. What was it, the APEC? Is that the large Asia-Pacific trade deal? I know they had that last year, and all the dignitaries flew their helicopters in. Kamala Harris, vice president, she landed right over there in the park. They used the large public parking lot for helicopters. And kind of as I suspected, there's not a whole lot on the other side of the street here until we get up to that bridge that crosses over the road. All the different vans and buses seem to be standing by on this side, waiting to shuffle people from the convention off to their hotels. And I've made my way up to that one bridge. You can see all the beautiful high-rises off in the distance. That's looking down, so at 22 and 24. The beautiful buildings with the helicopter pads. I see Mayfair Garden, but I think it's called something else. And then you're gonna have just super local tin places. That's just how Bangkok is. There is these really, really rich, crazy buildings. You can spend as much as you'd like. $5,000 a month for rent if you'd like. So you can't get confused when you see different people online. My $150 a month apartment in Bangkok. Sure, you can probably get a $50 apartment in Bangkok. It's just all where you're going to feel comfortable. And myself, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm all about saving money. I lived on a sailboat for years before I moved over, and I was just telling myself I will 100% be absolutely fine with just a basic room for a couple $100, and that's just more money to bank, more money to dive and travel with. And then that turns into, hey, but this $400 a month place, it's like really nice. And then for an extra $100, now I'm at $520 or $120. I get twice as much space, so it never ends. But as far as I need to be in the latest, greatest high-rise on the top floor penthouse and on for $3,000 a month, yeah, that's not going to happen in my life anytime soon. Now, I agree. That same apartment in New York City, Paris, any world-class city, will probably be $10,000 plus. So if that's what you want to do it. And this is looking in the direction of Rama 4. Traffic is next to nothing on this Sunday afternoon. This is real unusual. And that's looking off in the direction of Terminal 21, straight ahead. Yeah, there's just a whole lot of nothing on this side of the park until I get up closer to Sukhumvit. Now these are some low rises over on Soi 16. You would have to go down about to where that large building is, and I know there's a way to cut through over here onto Ratchada, and there's also, yeah, I can't see it, but there's also a bridge to cross over directly to the park or get on the Terminal 21 side. And that's all Benchakitty on the other side. If the trees weren't in the way, you could see the large man-made lake. And just very, very rough navigation. That building you see way up in the distance with a crane on top, that's the new, is it One Bangkok or Bangkok One? I think it's the One Bangkok. 6 towers, and the one with the crane I suspect is going to be the tallest building in Bangkok when they're done. Lumpini Park is directly across the street, and they have the Green Mile, which is just that. I think it's a kilometer. It goes from Benji Kitty Park over to Lumpini, and then off in the distance, that pointier building, I think that is one of the Hyatt properties right across the street from Central World. And then as we come over here, from there to here is running down Sukhumvit, and Terminal 21, it's straight ahead. You can't really see it, but the Centerpoint Hotel is kind of part of the mall. If you kept going to the right, you'd go into my neighborhood, Prampong, and then from there, Tong Law, Ekamai, Prakaknong, then on Nut. And this big compound with the blue gate is the Metropolitan Electric Authority. That does bring up one point with the MEA, your bill. When you move into a condo, you want to make sure, I'll say 95% of the time, you're going to be on what's called the government rate, whatever it is, 0.05 baht a kilo, whatever. You don't want to go into a building where they kind of estimate your usage, or even worse yet, they might charge you 0.08 or 0.09 instead of the government rate. And I'm making these figures up, whatever the government rate is. You can Google that. What you're going to do is basically pay your land person's bill. So you don't put the power in your name. Each month there'll be a bill in your mailbox. You scan it with your Thai bank account. I'm not sure if you can pay it at 7-Eleven. Maybe you can if you don't have a Thai bank account, but having that account will just make things easier. Now with an Airbnb, obviously they're going to pay the electricity for you, but you're probably going to pay 30% more, if not way more, for that condo. And even still, if you leave those ACs, 2 of them blowing 24 hours a day, and they get a 4,500 baht bill, they're probably going to have a conversation. And you can kind of see the water feature in between the trees there at the man-made lake. And you know what? I was wrong. This is the large tower where I told you there was a bridge, or there was a crosswalk, and good luck getting across all these lanes of traffic. You can stick your hand up in the air, you can do whatever it is you'd like to do. I'll say 10% of the cars might tap the brakes for you. In this case, I would walk whatever it is, the one more block straight ahead, and just use the passenger bridge. This traffic, it's kind of like driving in Southern California. When there's a gap in the traffic, everybody's going 95 miles an hour. Nobody is interested in you and your crosswalk. And that large building was the Ocean Tower 1, which just appears to be businesses. And I hate to keep harping on the traffic, but it is a real concern over here. Even if you're looking at the flow of traffic like I am, and you see a little break in the action, you could just step off, wham, you might get hit by a motorbike going the wrong way, 50 miles an hour. They just do not mess around over here, and it's their city, so we have to play with the rules that are in place. And the Capital Market Development Fund and the Lake Rahata 3. And I see a fancy dress shop, a wellness center. And if you're over there on Soi 16 or Soi 18, all of these buildings, they're so large, they go between the 2 streets. You can sneak over here. I'm not 100% positive this one does. If not, the one right next to it will. Here's the Cup Restaurant and Tea Room. Made my way up to the CTI Tower. I see a Bentley dealership and International Committee of the Red Cross. I had asked when I moved over here a couple of years ago, I was just doing a routine physical, and I said, hey, you know, how do I get started donating blood? Not that I donate a ton of blood, but if I'm in the hospital for a checkup, yeah, I'm not opposed to leaving a little donation behind. And they told me in Thailand it all goes through the Red Cross. They sent me to, well, I didn't go. I still need to do that. But it was the Red Cross over by Lumpini Park, I think. They told me that's who takes care of all the blood donations in town. Yeah, you never know. I might be the one collecting that blood one day. And here's the Bentley shop. Next door is the Column Tower with a Foodland grocery store. I'm not sure of the hours on this Foodland. I know many of them are 24 hours, but for whatever reason, I think this one, you can look up Foodland on Soi 16. I believe it closes at 10 p.m. I'm not 100% positive. And here's the walkway. That's the way to get across Ratchada or Sukhumvit or any of these big streets. Crosswalk or not, just don't do it. Use the train stations or use the pedestrian bridges. And while I'm over here, I've never actually taken the little shortcut to get over to Soi 16, so let's do that now. That's it straight ahead where you see the Amazon coffee shop and the Foodland's on the right. No, and I take it back, Foodland open 24 hours, so that's convenient for a night owl such as myself. And this Soi 16, I really like this street. If you can find, especially if you're a pet lover, a building that will take a dog, this is a super mellow street, very close to the craziness of a Sok BTS area. I know there's a little bit of traffic, but there's traffic on every street. I just like this 16. The street next to it, Soi 18. Soi 20 they call Soi Dog. So there you go. That dog park just across the street is a pretty valuable thing. And this is looking up. You can see the BTS there pulling into the Sok BTS station. I am going to go back through here and finish my walk. I know that Soi 16 is going to attach into Ratchada instead of Sukhumvit. And here's the Foodland. You'll find everything you need, including a lunch counter. It's kind of famous for its whatever it is, 140 baht breakfast, but I'm a 199 English pub guy. And we're back out on Ratchada heading towards the walk bridge. This brings up a point. If you're going to take your bike into the park, you're going to be carrying it up these stairs, but that is a small price to pay compared to trying to ride across the street. And here's this guy with his dog. Oh, he's probably just letting it out, but he's living in this tower. And just on the other side of the walkway is the dog park, so perfect for him. No, I think that lucky dog is heading to the dog park today. And he's in the lakes, so I'm assuming they accept pets? I don't know. I'm also assuming that's a very expensive building. They call it the lakes because it's facing the man-made lake there in Benjikiti. Plus it's whatever that is, a less than a 5-minute walk to the Sok BTS Sukhumvit MRT junction and Terminal 21. If there is a more central part of Bangkok, especially for expats. I'm not saying you have to live in this area. I get it. You can live on the other side of the river in Thonburi. That's where many expats have headed, or La Prau, all over the place. But central Bangkok, you're not gonna get much more central than this area. The Medusi Hotel, Bangkok. Okay. And that is Sukhumvit straight ahead. What is that, a half a block? Pulling into the train station. And this is the entrance or the exit, however you want to look at it, to Soi 16. Here's the Exchange Tower building. I was sent there from my agent to open my bank account, and I had another buddy who was sent there to another branch. So who knows, maybe because this is in the more expat-y, touristy area, that's where you might be sent. Who knows? Hey, and I apologize, I might have called it the Exchange 1 building, the Exchange Tower. I'm getting a little hot, even though it's 5:30 at night, still no joke. It's just a nice old building. It reminds me of New York City. Just, it seems like it's been around since the 60s. Maybe it's been around since the 80s, who knows? And most of these buildings, I'll say all of them, will have something similar to a condo or BTS entrance or exit. But there's also shops that are open to the public. There's a Starbucks down here, all kinds of things. Now here's my home office of Bangkok branch. It says it's open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 7. But many of these branches, even on a Sunday, especially in like the larger malls, you can go in there and take care of business. Now you do need to go to your home office for certain things. I just updated my address and I was told I could go to any Bangkok branch, so I went to the one nearest my home. But if I were to lose my bank book, and that's a thing over here, an old school paper bank book like you might have had in the US in the 70s. That's the last time I saw one. but it's still a big deal here. You have to update that bank book when you go to immigration and print out copies on and on. I'm not sure, but I was told if you were to lose that, you have to come here to your home branch. Also, if you change your passport and get a new passport number, that's supposed to be done at your home office. Other people online will say you 100% absolutely need to go to your home branch to print out your updating of the passbook when you go to immigration. Well, that's not true in Bangkok anyhow. They are fine with using the Bangkok branch down at the lobby of immigration. They are more concerned about getting an update that day. I know other people say, oh, you can get it within 7 days from your home branch, and that's good because some small bank up in Isan might say, well, we need 3 days to print out your 27 pages of whatever. In Bangkok, they appear to print out like the first 2 or 3 days of each month. I don't know what, but it's not a ton of pages, that's for sure. And the branch at the government building, Chengwatana in my case, they open, it's either 8 or 8:30 in the morning. I think it's 8:30, I think, the same time immigration opens. So I'll generally have a 9 o'clock appointment to get my visa extension and I'll be standing in line at 8:15. Hopefully I'm number 1 or 2. I'm in and out of there in 30 minutes and ready for my update for the extension. I know they charge you, I'm just going by memory, I want to say 200 baht, 100 baht to do the paperwork, and you have to do a 100 baht deposit. So I guess that's going into your account, but just be prepared with a little cash. Plus, I've always paid cash for my visa extension and my multi-entry. I don't know the answer to the question on, I did ask if I could use my US credit card and they said no way. I did not ask if I could scan my Thai bank account. I just didn't want to mess up whatever was printed out that day. I know that might be a little silly, but I went in, I got my updates, and I didn't want anything changing an hour later. So I just go with cash when I go to get my extension. It's 1,900 baht. Again, I'm going by memory for the extension, and another 3,400 or 3,600 for the multi-entry. Now that multi-entry is good for the year, come and go as you please. Just be careful with the information, including my channel. I make mistakes all the time, but I'm just at least trying to tell you my experience. I saw some guy, maybe it was on Facebook, he came up with some weird rule that a multi-entry is good for 3 times in an extension or something. I don't even know where he got that. The multi-entry, you can come and go out of the country every day for the entire extension. It just, you're going to pay for it, 3,600 now, or 400. Now there's other people that say, well, that's a waste of money. Just get a single entry extension or a single entry permit when you have to head home. I don't agree with that. If somebody passes away and you're a little distraught, probably the last thing you're going to want to do is find the guy at the airport to give the single permit. Other people say it's not a problem. Myself, I like to come and go as I please, and I travel often. If you're never going to leave Thailand, yeah, don't waste the 3,600. Go into immigration, and I don't know what a one-trip permit cost. It's obviously less than 3,600, but that'll be up to you. That 3,600 is the best thing I pay for each year. I just come and go as I please, and the airport counts as my 90-day check-in, so even better. Hey, so there you go. There's a little walk. MRT Queen Sirikit, up Ratchatapisik. Made our way to Sukhumvit. And like I mentioned, Ratchatapisik is going to turn into a Sukhumvit for this little stretch. Cowboy on the right, Terminal 21 on the left, up until Phetchaburi and the Makasan train station. Get you out to the airport on the airport rail link. Nice and cheap. I want to say 40 baht one way, maybe 45. Hey, so thank you so much for following along. This Sunday afternoon, there will be more videos to come. That I promise. We'll see you later.